satisfying thing about the Tavor is the bolt release. You just, oh, that is so satisfying. Tack reloads suck with bolt parts. All right, so a quick few comments on body armor and body armor setup. I usually see a few things with some new guys that are setting up their plate carrier. I know right around now people get new plate carriers due to Black Friday sales, things like that. Maybe they're just getting into the 2A scene. Either way, when they're setting it up, I usually notice something that's universal across everybody. One is the fact of they love to put their radios on their back. So I don't know where this came from. I think it's just from all the SWAT shows that people see on TV and the shitty SWAT movies, but they always got their radio on the back of their plate carrier, kind of by their shoulder, and the antenna sticks up. And I guess that looks cool for movies, but the fact is like you'll probably need to be managing your radio and either changing batteries for one, or changing channels, or it's just one of those things where your radio sometimes just gets bumped and messed up. So you'll need to be fiddling with it. And if it's on your back, you have to have another guy to come do it. Like, oh, well, I'll just take off my plate carrier. It's like, taking off your plate carrier is like really annoying. And taking it off when, especially if you're in some sort of fight, like some sort of serious situation, like that's a no-go, but you also need comms. So I definitely wouldn't recommend putting the radio on your back, but that's just me. That's just me. Maybe you've got orangutan arms and you can reach all the way back there and fiddle with it. But I'll tell you what, it's really nice when you can just see it, see what you're doing. And I've got mine set up just right here. I can reach back and then I can twist all my knobs, turn it off and on, or just pull it out of the pouch. Next thing that I see a lot of new people doing is they usually put like a knife onto the straps of their body armor. Now, that may look cool, and maybe they see it on the movies or they see it on Rambo, and you know, Rambo can do whatever the f he wants because he's Rambo. However, for you, something to keep in mind is if you are going to put it there, I just keep in mind, one, keep your shooting shoulder clear. This shoulder needs to be clear if you're right-handed like me. If you're not, then you can put it on the left, that's whatever. But keep the blade facing away from your fucking neck. I see all these guys and they've got a knife and the blade is facing this way. So if they have to like resheath it or pull it out, the knife is facing their neck. I don't know if you guys know, but there's an artery there. It's called the jugular. And if you slice that, it'll kill you. So relocate your knife from your strap. That's just my recommendation. There's plenty of other places for a knife. I've got mine set up right here on my cummerbund. It's just kind of like a small push dagger. And it's pretty simple, it's pretty small. Usually you're not gonna be using a knife for fighting anyway, so it's more utility. So you don't need it too fast grab. The one that I use for utility is just on my battle belt, mounted onto my mags. And this is the one that I use for utility purposes. It's accessible. If I need to grab it quickly, I can. I killed a few pumpkins like that in the last video. But keep it away from your neck. And if you do, have it away from your shooting shoulder and then facing away from your neck. That's my recommendation, because I don't want to see a guy's like, oh, I need to cut some paracord, and it slices open his jugular when he's playing some fucking airsoft. I don't know, man. So as far as pouch setup is concerned, when choosing your pouches, choose something that's going to maybe work for a couple of your different weapons if you've got one. If you've just got a dedicated AR platform, then choose that. For me, I run a couple different guns. I run AKs, I run 308s, and I run 5.56. So with a variety of different mags, I always like these GCode Softshell Scorpions. They've got elastic and they can go big enough to hold AK, 308 mags, so like SCARs or FAL mags. And they can also go down small enough that they can just fit your standard steel mags as well. So I think these are the best mags in the business. They're 25 bucks a pop, but you won't have to buy any other mag carriers again, unless you're running some sort of sub gun, things like that. Something that's really good about these mag carriers as well is the fact of you can take them and then pull them away from your body and pull out. If you're prone, or if you're just in a bit of a tough situation, or if you've got something mounted above the mags, then having something that pulls out is really important. If you've got a fully Kydex sleeve for your mags and you try to pull it straight up and you've got maybe like a pistol mounted over there, what's going to happen is you're going to try to pull that up and it's going to get in the way, and then you're not going to be able to easily pull your mag out. Now, you can probably get it out and stuff, but if you're going for a fast reload, it's just one of those things to keep in mind is don't make it harder than it needs to be. I see some guys, and I see this more in like the mag-fed paintball and airsoft community. You know, take that as you will. However, within that community, I see a lot of them just trying to make cool looking rigs. And like, I understand wanting to look cool, like looking cool is half the battle. But in an effort to look as cool as possible, they'll put their mags upside down. I've seen it either upside down on the front of their plate carrier or upside down on a cummerbund. And I tried that out for the front of the plate carrier. No, that's stupid. I don't think it ever works. Maybe if they're mounted really high, but if you're prone, that means you have to pull down into your crotch to reload. So I don't really like that. I don't recommend that. If that's you, I'd probably change it, but you know, I'm just some dude on the internet. On the cummerbund, there's a little bit more of an argument for it, but the problem is for me, mine always interfered with the battle belt that was beneath it. So it would just clunk along to the mags there and just hit the mags underneath. And that made a lot of noise, and it also made reloading a lot harder. And inevitably, I always lost that mag. When I was training, I was running around, it would just come out eventually. A lot of people set up and it's an empty magazine, they run around and it's fine, sure. But once you fill that with 30 rounds, there's a lot more weight on it, so it's more likely just to fall out. So if you're gonna do that, I recommend just storing your mags upright onto your cummerbund. How I've got mine currently set up, which is not the most advantageous, is I've got 2 rifle mags up front and then 2 pistol mags in ITW fast mags. I think if you're gonna run a plate carrier, probably just run 3. I've got this set up because sometimes I run some sub guns, and sometimes I just like to have some fast draws for the sub gun. Something to keep in mind when you're setting up your rifle is making sure that your sling can accommodate your body armor. Body armor adds a lot of thickness to your kit. You're going to need to give yourself a little bit of extra space on your sling. Now, a lot of modern slings these days are kind of just adjust on the fly. Those are perfect, they're gonna be amazing. For me, I've got a lot older sling on my Tavor here. It's great because it's got some bungee in it, and I think bungee is a little bit of a relic, but I still really enjoy it. But when it's set up for just me, when it's slick, I like it much tighter to my body, and to make sure it's not like dangling around and hitting my dick when I'm moving around if I go for like a pistol transition. But when I'm wearing body armor, it really needs a lot of extra space. So you know, whenever I'm running kit, I need to make sure to give myself some extra space within my sling. That way the thing just isn't just tied to my body. So make sure you're adjusting. Something else to be keeping in mind is, how are you going to run your body armor? What kit are you going to run it with? A lot of guys, they put their body armor on, they set it up, and then they're just completely slick after that. If you're going to be running a battle belt, make sure to set it up with your battle belt in mind. So put that battle belt on, load it full of mags. That way you're going to find any interferences that you might run into. For me, one of those things was when I had a downward facing mag, once again, don't recommend, don't do that. It would run into the mags on my battle belt. So that was one of those issues that I ran into. Other guys, if you're going to be running backpacks or things like that, or if you have like a bug out bag, like that's how you're going to be running your body armor, make sure to put on the backpack and then make sure it works with all your setup. Because if you put your backpack on and it gets in the way of your push to talk, or it starts ripping stuff off, you've got that knife mounted here, that's going to be something that's just going to make things a little bit harder. So actually test your setup. Don't just put it on and then you know, throw it into your closet and call it good. Make sure it actually fucking works. I'm sitting out here and somebody shot the shit out of pumpkins. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me. And then it just smells like a pumpkin Spice Girls wet dream. All right, well, hopefully some of this information was useful. I'm sure a lot of it was a bit of a review. But if you're new to this, then I hope maybe a few tips were something that you can keep in mind. Keep those knives away from your next gentleman. I'll see you on the next one.
Refill your mags. Empty.